I might as well talk about it anyway. So, well, the game has been announced, the new God of War game, and well, Lord of Behold, well, I found out who the writer is, which kind of really shocks me, to be frankly honest, who's responsible for it, for this weird spin-off game that really shouldn't make sense, but that's just me anyways. That's just my personal opinion. But let's see if there's a little bit more information on it, actually. I'm super curious. The feminist writer claims responsibility for the God of War spin-off, and the backlash is savage. I'm a little disappointed who it is, to be honest. I'm just a slight bit
Hey, what's
disappointed.
up, guys? Ruff here. So in this video, I'll be going over the PlayStation State of Play for 2026. Now, of course, there were many announcements contained throughout this event. However, the discourse right now is being
It was a
dominated
pretty
by
okay
God
show.
of War, Laufey. And despite the claims of people like Jeff Keighley saying Kratos has arrived, that is not what people are getting. Instead, they're getting this spin-off
Oh my
called God of War Laufey, and you can see the
god.
design of
Lawfey.
the new main protagonist, and it has modern audience written all over it. Now, of course, the backlash is palpable right now, but the shills and the sycophants are doing everything in their power to not only defend the billion-dollar corporation, but they're also intentionally missing the criticisms being launched towards this game and its trailer. A trailer that is so bad that even people like David Jaffe, the creator of God of War, one of the most woke people in the industry.
Wait, whoa, wait. God of War creator thinks that the new God of War looks terrible and will not sell what it needs to sell? No shot, dude. Are you serious? The creator even said that too? That's crazy to hear that.
By the way, even he is saying this trailer looks terrible. Now, in terms of the trailer itself, you can see the backlash is very noticeable. 37,000 likes versus 33,000 dislikes. It's not just the appearance of the main protagonist. The trailer itself is just not that impressive to a lot of people. But with the design, a lot of people are
Thank
going
you
to
for
be
the follow,
farming this for
Bookamakan.
content, myself included, because the discourse surrounding this is pretty insane, beginning with the design itself. Now, you have the actress being used for the voice in motion capture, which is Deborah Ann Woll, and people are looking at this and saying, here we go again. They're trying to basically chop her down a peg with this design, and people are also pointing out the difference between Japanese and Western studios and how they portray characters, especially with motion capture. But of course, people are missing the point entirely, saying that they're so happy they're not miserable like the people criticizing the design, and trying to claim that people are saying Deborah Ann Woll is ugly, which literally nobody is doing. They're doing the opposite, in fact. They're praising her appearance while saying what happened with the motion capture and the design used for this game. And people like Asmongold were quick to point out in a series of deleted responses, saying no one wants to be a character that looks like your average 43-year-old suburban mom. If you think I'm wrong, let's see how many cosplayers dress up as her versus the dozens of more appealing characters. Game will probably still be successful regardless, though. And that's a very important point. This game is going to sell millions and millions of copies. We say this all the time. Games can be able to sell millions of copies, but is this a financial success
No,
for God of War? Is this
no.
going to sell as many copies as it could have
I can't wait to see how much they spent on that game, the budget wise, and then also the advertisement on top of that for this game.
if they leaned into a different direction? We'll have to wait and see. But a lot of people are simply asking, what happened to this franchise? Well, this is really just representative of a lot of bigger issues going on in the gaming industry, but this is such a noticeable shift that even the original God of War creator, David Jaffe, is calling the trailer terrible. Now, understand, this guy is incredibly woke. He will do anything to appeal to the sort of activists you see on social media who are propping up this spin-off. but he's also a guy who's gone after YouTubes. I remember the controversy where he was trying to defend women, and Vera Dark, a woman, dared to disagree with him on things, and he called her a mental lightweight. He's also someone with a trans kid, and he's constantly doing activism and whining about Asmongold and all that sort of stuff. But this is his response to the trailer, and what he has to say, well, he's on point.
The God of War thing, though, if it wasn't called God of War, to me this feels like one of those trailers that someone has to remind you about, and then you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's kind of cool, you know. It's like if it's God of War, so I'm not hyped for it, but of course I'm going to play it and I'm going to stream it, talk.
He's 100% right. They are only thriving at any level because of the IP. If this wasn't a God of War IP, this game either A, wouldn't exist, or it wouldn't.
I don't think this game is gonna sell because like it's gonna sell, right? I'm saying as in like it's not gonna sell as in make profit wise. They're not gonna get the return in investment in return. I'm like, for the God's sakes, you know, mostly every single Sony game that they have invested in has been like over fucking 500 mil for no apparent reason. So I'm like, if this game has that budget wise too as well, well, you know.
Have half the traction it does right now.
And remember this, that game, that God of War game is only going to be exclusive on the PS5. It's not coming to PC. So it's not even going to even sell that much. Remember that.
About it. But as it relates to just, I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible. I don't think it's going to sell what they need it to sell, assuming it is expensive. I don't know if it's expensive. But assuming it's expensive, I don't think this is going to... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with that?
I mean, think about this guy and his sort of motivations for reacting the way he is. I mean, he's kind of stepping out of bounds. Like, a lot of people expected him to prop up this game no matter what, but no, he's saying it looks terrible, referring to the trailer. And he brings up the same point that we just talked about. Will this sell enough to be worth it?
No.
Will this satisfy in terms of sales? Not just impressing the sycophants on Twitter who will be like, oh my gosh, it sold 4 million copies or whatever it ends up at, right? Will this be worth it? Will this reflect these sort of numbers they expect from an IP like this? Again, we'll have to wait and see. But, you know, they eat their own. We saw this happen the other day. People who were standing side by David Jaffe all this time are now turning on him, saying, I'm tired of this old man having a post-breakup resentment towards the franchises he doesn't work for anymore. Now, a lot of people are looking at the absolute states of many different IPs, and what do you see happening? A shift. Now, of course, people call you crazy and misogynistic for pointing out the obvious here, but there is a shift in terms of protagonists in many different IPs.
You know the one thing that I hate about, at least when it comes to like modern games or so, right? Where there's already an established like main character, right? It's a guy, right? But mostly it's a damn guy, right? Like I remember like during the God of War days, right? The early God of War days, there was a game, right? Its own IP, but they got inspiration from God of War to make the character. Instead of like, you know, instead of taking the IP of the game and then basically changing the main character to a female, they decided to this specific studio made their own game inspired by God of War. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong that they were inspired from it, but let me see here. Let me take a look at it real fast. Yes, I am correct. So, if you guys if you guys remember this, right? If you guys remember this specific video game, this game, Heavenly Swords, this game was inspired by God of War. It didn't it didn't just like, it didn't really like, use the God of War name. It was inspired by it, you know? That's why I out of all the like well, there's a lot of female main protagonists back then, right? Or a good amount anyways, I should say. This one was my favorite one of the most. I found her pretty cool. Now it's been a while since I remember the story though, so but yeah, so Heavenly Swords was drew a strong inspiration from God of War along with the other PS2 action games like Devil May Cry. The developer Ninja Theory incorporated similar elements including aggressive combo-based combat, cinematic finishers, environmental puzzles, and the combat styles where the protagonist's sword splits into two, swung around with a chain at a distance and highly reminiscent to Kratos' Blade of Chaos. So all I have to say is that games back then were inspired to make their own game similar to it instead of taking main established IPs that have male protagonists in it and then they use the same IP but then use a female on it. So and I'm just kind of like what happened to the days or so where you are inspired from a video game and then you make your own game? Explain that to me.
Ps. It is very noticeable if you have your blinders off. What happened here? Well, you can see number one. You can check out the game director, who seems completely unqualified, and a lot of people are blaming DEI for this. Whether or not that's true, I think at the very least people are not too impressed. But the main arc a lot of people are talking about is Alana Pierce, who has confirmed herself, if you trust her, that she worked for a significant amount of time on this.
Well, you want to know something, Wayne? How suspicious that they decided to make a DLC for a 12-year-old game, even though the game already concluded for The Witcher 3, and there has been different, like, outcomes or so for the game, right? Of the ending. But they decided to make this one DLC, trying to make it lead towards the new Witcher game. It's a little bit suspicious, in my personal opinion, you know? When there's many dots on the line or so, you connect them together and they make something. It all goes back to a specific area. I have my theory or so, my tin hat theory for that one. My tin foil one.
Game as a writer, and if you know anything about her, this makes so much
The timing
sense.
is a little bit suspicious.
How this turned out makes so much sense if she was involved. She is someone who made it very clear that she worked on this for 4 years and spent thousands and thousands of hours involved with this game's production. Now, Alana Pierce is very controversial for, well, very.
This is very disappointing because Alana Pierce was somebody that I watched back then or so with Bruce when they used to do Funhouse. Do you guys remember the YouTube channel Funhouse? That was a YouTube channel I used to watch, and Alana Pierce was actually part of the team. And they all she was the only female in an all male group, and that was pretty much about it. I don't know what happened to her, to be honest, but man, the times have changed for her. I'm just talking about Funhouse. I'm not talking about Machinima. Yeah, I also went, but why when CD Projekt Red announced the new DLC? That's what I'm saying. Or so I'm like, why are we getting this DLC? Like, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. But the problem is like, the timing of it is a little bit suspicious, is all. So people change, I guess. But I guess she changed the worst, in my personal opinion, because I am not too fond of her. Of her now. So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in her, to be honest. I would have expected, for her to be like, making a story for gamers, you know? And she didn't give me that, like, she didn't rub me the person of being like, in this kind of situation, so.
Obvious reasons, and we'll go through a few, just a few, of her very intelligent takes on the gaming industry, beginning with her previous claims that Elden Ring is not accessible to disabled players because it counts as a disability if you have a 2-year-old. That
Wait, God of War Ragnarok writer Alana Pierce argues Elden Ring is not accessible to disabled players, claims it counts as a disability if you have a 2-year-old. What? Huh? I'm like, you see, brother, there's like Alana, there's like literally videos on YouTube where people who are disabled who are literally playing Elden Ring like it's nothing. I'm like, okay, here, hold on. Let me let me just pop this up real quick. I just need to pop this up real fast. Oh my god. I'm like, you literally have one person who's playing with their mind right now. And I think if I remember correctly, there was also someone who was also playing with their feet. I remember that. I'm like, you have quite a few people, I mean, you got a one-arm person literally playing Elden Ring.
Allergies, man. My eyes itch so bad today from the pollen.
I'm like, I'm just saying, I think they wanted the ability to pause or something like that. Like I said, there's like a bunch of like, there's like videos that you can literally search up who people are disabled or so that literally play, And then look at this. Look at this guy right here.
Got him. What? No, don't die. Don't die. Got him. Confirmed.
I'm just saying, I don't know what happened to her, but this is the most dumbest retarded comment I've ever heard in my entire life, to be honest.
one I'm still trying to wrap my head around, ladies and gentlemen. That is
I'm
a
very
wild
super
take. But
disappointed in
also,
this
she
woman.
is very, very critical of certain designs. She says it's basically impossible in the
Well,
year
she is in
2026
LA.
to create appealing character designs.
That explains a lot, to be honest.
And when confronted with a game like Stellar Blade, she said that that should be the outlier, not the expectation. She was very upset about the appealing design of Eve, for example.
What, do you hate that like a hot Asian woman is better looking than you? That's crazy, to be honest. That's kind of crazy.
And as people have pointed out, her anger towards especially more revealing designs with characters is quite ironic given the fact that she's regularly thirst trapping on social media for attention.
You are thirst trapping? Wait a second. Hold on a second. It has been confirmed that the writer of God of War Laufey is none other than Alana Pierce, which I'm disappointed. She is known for her passionate defense of ugly AAA characters. Oh god. Particularly to Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2, and her belief that games like Stellar Blade should be the exception rather than the norm. No, it should be the norm in my personal opinion. Because at the end of the day, women, right? Attractive women, right? Or gamer women in general, right? Actual true female gamers, okay? They will cosplay the hot characters. They do not want to cosplay an ugly character, okay? Does it look like I want to cosplay an ugly ass looking character from Concord? No. I want to cosplay as fucking Bredy from Nikke. I would like to cosplay as fucking Iula from Genshin Impact. I would like to cosplay as fucking Cantarella from fucking literally from Withering Waves. I'm like, for God's sakes, sex sells. Literally, the woman who's literally doing thirst trap in a goddamn fucking women's bathroom in a public area is literally doing the same shit, using a fucking push-up bra to push up her fucking boobs upwards. Okay, I see that. I fucking see that there. Okay, pushing your boobs up. Okay, all right. You know, showing a little bit, showing that little cleavage right there. You know, I can see you. You know, puckering your lips like, and then you fucking, and then you move your hair just slightly a little bit, right, to do the sex appeal. Okay, I know what you're doing, hun. Okay, I know what you're doing. It doesn't work here. All right, all right. You're about to hit 40. Okay, all right. 40-year-old woman. All right. Learn your shit. That sex sells. Okay, you're literally selling yourself on the internet. Shut the fuck up. My God. Tired of these goddamn 40, 50-year-old women. Jesus.
And also, her credibility is very shaky to say the least. She's been in many controversies where she's improperly claiming or overselling her involvement with various projects and taking credit for things that she does not actually have any involvement with. So
Is
when
for
the
herself,
actual
okay.
preview came out during the PlayStation State of Play, she was there live giving her reaction, where for the first minute she's just covering her face in shock at the thing that she literally knows is coming out and the thing that she worked on for years. But let's hear her very quick.
This is the only like besides the whole like, you know, besides the whole like, you know, shitty like story that this is going to be question mark, you know. The other thing why I wasn't like pretty excited for, there was a video that I watched or so, right, before stream, right, where literally the person said like, I'm not really that excited for God of War Laufey, because the thing is, it's like, it's the same shit. I'm like, they haven't really pushed the scope for it to match, you know, the evolution, you know. They said that they played the first God of War game, and then they enjoyed that first God of War game. They played the second one, but the second one didn't feel like a sequel. It felt more like a DLC for the first one. And then also at the same time too, the graphics itself, you know, I'm like, yeah, it looks sharper, it looks crazy and everything like that. But the problem is, it still looks the same to like all the other previous God of War games. So it's not really like pushing the scope. It's not really doing an evolution to God of War in general. All they did was just add a jump button and she could do air combos. Wow, that's so fucking revolutionary. It's like it was never there before, you know? It's like, I'm like, yeah, you know what? You know, you might be pretty right, to be honest, because at the end of the day, it's just kind of like looks the same. I'm like, if you swap the main character from the female to Kratos, it's just literally just the same thing, to be honest, without any like changes, like nothing like super revolutionary where it ups itself, you know, from the last game.
Reaction and the confirmation of her claim
It's
of
just
her
they're playing it
involvement
safe.
writing for this game.
This is wild. Okay,
Context, everybody, this is the game that I wrote. This is the game that I wrote on it. Sony said I'm on a studio for 4 fucking years, and I've not been allowed to address for 6 years. Has to be complete secret. This is the fucking game that I wrote. But I thought they were just gonna do a trailer. I didn't know it was gonna be 20 minutes of gameplay.
The thing is, though, despite her credibility issues, we believe you. We 100% believe you had a hand to play in the creation of this game. Yeah, it's totally believable. But the quotes are roasting this. A former IGN journalist wrote the new God of War game. You can't make this up.
Oh, she used to work
It's
for
like
IGN?
the final boss of woke
Oof,
crap.
yikes.
We can tell. Yeah, we can absolutely tell she had a hand in creating this spin-off. Bro, she wrote this. How? What the F is
I'm like, if the creator of God of War is literally saying that this game is not good, you know you fucked up pretty badly, in my personal opinion.
she doing to get into these positions? And that goes back to the routine claim in the industry, and I guess routine problem, where
Like I said, I personally would like to have a comic relief character instead of having a mascot. But like I said, that's just me anyways.
people are failing upwards. It seems like no matter how many controversies, how many duds, how many mistakes they make, they just keep getting more opportunities.
Just make a different game. Like, just literally make a different game that's inspired from Uncharted. I'm like, I'm kind of like sick and tired of them using the IP name to sell their games, because we all know for a fact that they can't write for jack shit. Because at the end of the day, these are theater kids. While yours truly, right? Over here, right? Ha ha ha, hi, right? Number one, I'm not a theater kid. Number two, I know how to write good stories. My English teacher has praised me of how good my story writing is. That they literally wanted me to like get in contact with a writer to be a what's the word again? What's the word? You're under their wing or so, and they teach you this shit. Like how the water runs and everything like that. What's it called again? An apprentice. There you go. Sorry. Forgot about that. Like an apprentice, you know? And I'm just kind of like, that'd be pretty cool. But then, parents said no at the end of the day, because it's not, you have to be doctor, you have to be lawyer, you have to be fucking super significant in fucking society, because that's how my family was at the end of the day. So, well, actually, that's just how my mom was. So, I'm like, at the end of the day, like I said, it's not hard to write stories for like the audiences that you're making for, you know? It's really not that, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's really not that fucking hard, okay? It's not that fucking hard, okay? And like, I swear to God, I can probably make a fucking good ass fucking story, like no joke, and with what, with a broken pencil and like fucking like 50 pages, of paper. I can probably fucking write a better story than this shit, to be honest. That's all I gotta say. Trust me, it's not that hard to write a story, okay? All you need is just stuff that inspires you, and that's all you fucking need, okay? All right? It ain't the second coming of Jesus, okay? All right? Doctor, lawyer in the age of 16, disrespect this household you've been. Like, just like Phantom Blade Zero. I'm like, I can probably make a really good story. Like, I really could. I'm like really that fucking confident, Like, I don't have a massive ego. Like, I really don't. But I know for a fact I can write a better story. Like I can. And I don't really like do that shit to like where I'm literally like saying that to get a massive ego or anything. I know for a fact that I can. That's how confident I am. So
it really is some sort of friendship club. It is like a high school environment where if you're on the in crowd, you just keep getting more and more opportunities. But looking at this game, her influence, the influence of others as well, the criticism is rolling in. But don't worry, the sycophants are out in full force, ladies and gentlemen, not only defending billion-dollar corporation, but intentionally missing the point. You can see posts like this saying, imagine not playing this because you hate female protagonists. Oh, that's right. It's all about hating female protagonists. That's the reason why people are mad. It's really that simple. Everyone's just a massive misogynist, incel, whatever buzzword they want to throw out there.
I just don't get
That's
why
the
this
only
was
reason
even made, to
why
be honest. When
people are
she's supposed to be
criticizing this
dead.
game. It is such a cop-out. But you can see the reply saying, imagine believing this is a fitting protagonist for a God of War game. Yes, I hate Western-made female protagonists done after 2016. Imagine saving $90 instead of buying this abomination. But here's some more defenders saying, I can't believe there are still people afraid to play as a woman in a video game. To my listeners right now, are you afraid to play a woman in a video game, or are you
I
afraid
just want a Heavenly Sword remake, to be honest. That'd be the most craziest shit ever, to be honest, because I would play that shit literally on day one if there was a remake for that game. Or a remastered.
or, well, I guess, disinterested in playing
You know what would be so crazy if they do announce a fucking Heavenly Sword remastered? Because she's also a redhead too as well, right? She's also a redhead. And she's also inspired by the God of War game. If they ever announce that shit, literally in the Summer Game Fest, dude, I'm gonna laugh my ass off so hard, to be honest.
a ham-fisted one that is not appealing and seems like it's done to check boxes or push agenda, rather than providing a more fitting and suitable main protagonist. I mean, it's more of a rhetorical question, but you get my point. And you can see
I don't really care
Asmongold
about
again
that, to be honest.
replying saying
The problem is,
intentional
what's the point of the story, to
misunderstanding.
be
No one is
honest?
afraid to play as a girl, and you know this. Why would you even say that? Well, it's very obvious, ladies and gentlemen. They are trying their best to defend this because they either have an interest in it directly or, well, it just fits their agenda. But here's another very sane person saying, why can't I get off to this like I did when it was a man? I guess quoting the people criticizing this. Okay, well, I guess we're going this route. As pointed out here, not very woke of you. The very woke Twitter users are now using gay as an insult. That has been a very interesting development in Pride Month. I guess they're doing the whole dark woke sort of approach here. That's totally hypocritical and embarrassing for them. But here's another one doing basically the same thing, saying happy pride to men calling Deborah Ann Wool ugly. A strange way to come out, but who am I to judge? Nobody. You're nobody to judge. But on top of that, nobody, and I mean nobody, is judging the appearance of the actress used for the voice and motion capture. Nobody is doing this. Nope. People are looking at the way she is portrayed in the game and saying it's a disservice. It is insulting to the actress. Nobody is attacking her. In fact, most people are defending her as a result of everything going on right now. But here's another interaction saying there's for real grown people scared to play as a woman in a video game. Of course, here we go again. And they reply to a criticism saying, you're a grown man scared to play as a woman in a video game. I guess if you just keep saying things over and over again, it must be true. But you know what? Hypocrisy. There's always hypocrisy, ladies and gentlemen. The call is coming from inside the house. This person is saying others are scared to play as women in video games. Oh, would you look at that? As pointed out, you're one of them, where they are mocking people who want to play Stellar Blade. Would you look at that? Hypocrisy and these activists, it goes hand in hand, ladies and gentlemen. Then you see more defenders saying, I hate what that side of the internet has done to gaming discourse, man. Unless it's like Stellar Blade or Lara Croft or with boobs and ass flopping about, it's always woke this.
You want to know something? You know for a fact that these people are terrorists because they didn't say. Because the argument that you can always say specifically is fucking Samus from Metroid. It's like, you didn't know that it was a female until like you get the secret ending for the game. Back on the ye old ass game. Because there was a thing or so that you can unlock a special cutscene or so in the old game where she takes off the armor and she's in a like bikini kind of type of thing. So like that's how you can tell immediately that like, you know, Samus was also on that list too as well. Should have been on that list that this person was saying. That's how you know for a fact they are not real gamers. These aren't real like people who actually play video games. They're just on the bandwagon because it's the popular thing, and that's it. I'm just saying.
Woke that. It's 2026, bro. Like, please
I'm just talking about
wake
the
up.
old game because
So besides
you know,
blaming that side, I think we
besides
should
for the
reflect on
old
what
side-scroller
side is
Metroid
causing
game.
the issues here in the first place. Telling people to just pack it up and just consume products with no question. Yeah, that sounds like some shill behavior to me. Defending billion-dollar corporation like your life depends on it. Literally for free, by the way, not even a blue check mark on this one. This guy is just doing it for the love of the game. Truly, truly interesting behavior. But overall, proof will be in the pudding. Again, you can say it a million times. The usual people will intentionally ignore it.
Yeah, of
But
course.
this game will sell millions of copies. No one's questioning that. But are
Yeah,
they
of course.
fulfilling their best interests and their full potential going this route?
No.
No. I think it's safe to say right now, based on the reception of this trailer alone, it's not looking great. It's not looking great. Their expectations are extremely high when it comes to anything with a God of War IP, and this right now is not looking like it's going to fulfill those big expectations.
I would have preferred a God of War prequel where Kratos actually meets Faye and then they fall in love. I would have preferred that personally. I'm just saying.
But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, consider giving a like to the video, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for...
And basically it just runs the story or so and how fucking Kratos met Faye, you know? And then how they fell in love with each other and then, you know, blah 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 blah, you know. I'm just saying that would have been better. People on the internet lies constantly for clout. Look at the OG Zapper. If they made the name God of War, God if War Faye, it would have been still accepted rather than Purple Law Faye. How Kratos got into the Norse mythology, pretty much. How he got up to the Norse, you know. How did he met you know, not Laufey, my bad. How did he met Faye, you know? How was that created? How did she fell in love with him? How did they actually made a baby together, you know? I need context on that, you know. That would have been so much better, you know. And they could have gotten more in depth in that, but who knows? They decided to do this spin-off where Faye is got isekai to another world, I guess, you know, and then I guess she has to save this specific isekai world, and then she'll be set off to the dead, you know. Then she'll finally rest in peace. But oh well, like I said, I've said it. Like I already said it on the VOD itself that like, hey, you know, if this is how the story is going to be or so, and this is how they tie it into the main story plot, I'm just gonna be like, I called it, and it wasn't really that wasn't really that difficult or so to kind of like see from this trailer. So, but yeah, like I said, we'll see if it's true or not. I could be wrong, I could be right. Who knows what it is? So now knowing Alana was involved with the R2 only QTE makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I think there should be a law or so that women shouldn't write stories for video games. It should be only guys, to be honest. Only I'm the only exception, to be honest. I get the special pass. So, anyways, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy jazzy stuff. Maybe we should do that, actually. Can we make a law or so to ban women from writing stories for video games? And it can only be for guys can write stories, except for me. I wonder if Kratos is gonna fight Jesus. I don't know, to be honest. Since they're doing all the gods, More like they need to take a test and get a license for story. No. You put a law that bans women from writing, except yours truly, and that's basically it. Only for guys and guys only. Okay, that should be it. We should just ban every single woman writer. That's it. But yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And let's make that a law, shall we? And peace.